The next bill on the calendar for today is Senate File 2511. The clerk will report the bill.
Senate File number 2511, an act relating to liquor, the unofficial engrossment.
I recognize the member from Stearns, Representative O'Driscoll, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. The file and bill before us, Senate File 2511, is the annual or biannual liquor bill. There are 17 different provisions in here. With those 17 different provisions, there are, number one that's worth noting is many of you have seen and heard in the news what's called the Granny Happy Hour, where assisted living and nursing homes have in the past offered alcohol to their residents in a kind of a happy hour social interaction. And DPS said, no go, we're fixing that provision in the law. That in of itself is the reason to for sure vote yes for it, but let me give you some other reasons about why you want to vote yes for this bill. It also takes care of a lot of local issues as relates to liquor law, allowing a lot of University of Minnesota campuses to be able to serve alcohol for different kinds of events that they may be hosting on their campus or on their premises, as well as a host of other local bills. Madam Speaker, there is one amendment, and it's a technical author's amendment to get the bill in the shape that we need it. I'd like to have that amendment introduced today.
There's an amendment at the desk. The clerk will report the amendment.
O'Driscoll moves to amend Senate File number 2511, the unofficial engrossment. The amendment is coded A12.
I recognize a member from Stearns, Representative O'Driscoll, to your amendment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. The A12 amendment, we've been working on this bill for 2 years. There were some questions that DPS, Department of Public Safety, and specifically within the department, the division, the AGE, or AGE, the Alcohol, Gaming, and Enforcement, had some questions. We were able to work some language out. There's peace in the valley, using Representative David's cliche here. And so I ask members to vote yes on the A12 amendment to get the bill in the shape that we needed for final passage today.
I recognize the member from Anoka, Representative Cagle.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would urge my members to vote in favor as well. It's a good amendment, the way that we should be doing this kind of stuff. So thank you.
All those in favor of the amendment say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The amendment is adopted. There are no further amendments at the desk. The clerk will give the bill its third reading as amended.
Third reading, Senate File number 2511, as amended.
Third reading. Discussion to the bill. I recognize the member from Stearns, Representative O'Driscoll.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker, and I did set the bill up before we took the amendment, but again, just as a reminder, it contains a large number of clarifications, including the Granny Happy Hour, the use of coolers and stuff within establishments that sell both intoxicating and non-intoxicating beverages, as well as a number of local provisions. And Madam Speaker, with that, I would encourage a yes vote.
I recognize the member from Stearns, Representative Perryman. I recognize the member from Anoka, Representative Cagle.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I just want to take this opportunity to thank Chair O'Driscoll. This is, you know, a good bill. We were able to get a lot of good things done for our local communities, and yeah, just want to say vote yes. Good bill. Thank you.
I recognize the member from Dakota, Representative Hewitt.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Representative O'Driscoll and Representative Cagle, for this bill. It's been wonderful to work with you through the years, Representative O'Driscoll. I'm going to miss you, both in real estate and now the alcohol world, I guess. So the only thing I'm disappointed about is we didn't move the needle on 3.2 indefinitely. We've been working with the microbreweries to open up markets for them. That wasn't touched yet, but I hope in years to come that we're able to go after and conquer those two areas. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I recognize the member from Polk, Representative Gander.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Rise in support of Senate File 2511. I would like to thank co-chairs O'Driscoll and Cagle, along with this whole Commerce and Finance Committee, for your work on this bill over the last 2 years. It takes a little tenacity to move these things, and I really do appreciate that. You know, the University of Minnesota has been kind of stuck under some constraints that have been there almost as far back as the Lewis and Clark expedition. And this bill absolutely takes them out from under those constraints. And so again, thank you for everyone, and I encourage a green vote. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I recognize the member from Hennepin, Representative Nadeau.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. Section 2 is the greatest part of this bill, and just to remind everyone, this provides this and it started in my district. It started in a assisted living facility in Champlin, Minnesota, and this provides a limited exception to liquor laws for licensed assisted living, boarding care facilities, and nursing homes. Only when consumption is for residential activities. It's effectively the happy hour bill for senior citizens. Remember that these facilities are already licensed. They're subject to MDH rules regarding food safety, storage, and it represents what we should be doing here a lot more of, and that's, finding agreement between the long-term care imperative, the Department of Public Safety, the Department of Health, and our grandparents. So with that, vote yes. Thank you, members.
Further discussion to the bill. I recognize Representative O'Driscoll.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. I don't really have any more to add to this other than I'm going to close with a line from one of Minnesota's homegrown bands, Semisonic. It's closing time. Let's vote yes.
The clerk will take the roll. The clerk will call the names of the members participating remotely.
Falconer.
Falconer votes aye.
Falconer votes aye. Green.
Green votes aye.
Green votes aye. Johnson W.
Johnson W. aye.
Johnson W. votes aye. Purcell.
Purcell aye.
Purcell votes aye. Steer.
You're up, vote aye.
Steer, aye.
Steer votes aye.
The clerk will close the roll. There being 129 ayes and 1 nay, the bill is passed as amended and its title is agreed to.